Welcome to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Christina.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Good to be back. I'm always so happy when we're in studio.
Yes, and this guest, all the guests that we've had this year have just been truly amazing, but this one, it's going to be very interesting, and I'm very excited for it.
I am too. So let's just get started a little bit as I introduce our guest. Her work as psychic medium, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker and coach has had a profound impact on the lives of those who have sought her guidance, from Hollywood celebrities to business executives, coaches to everyday individuals. She provides insights and inspiration that lead to positive transformations. Her ability to provide accurate and detailed information has helped her clients navigate challenges and make important decisions with confidence. Her work has been instrumental in fostering personal growth, winning business strategies, directions, answers, and empowerment. Please welcome Karyn Reece to Deals with Heels.
Welcome.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Hello.
Yes.
We're so excited to have you as a guest. Christina and I have been talking about it. You and I booked a little bit ago, and so it's so exciting to finally have you on the show. And I wanted to, so you are a psychic medium, and I think a lot of people don't understand the differences between a psychic, a medium, and just plain old good intuition. Can you kind of give us a breakdown of what all of that means and what it is, and how you're a combination of them and all of that?
Right, like Reese's Pieces. There's a puzzle here. But anyways, just saying, bad puns. So intuition's that pit in your stomach. It's that gut. It's a baseline form of psychic abilities where you know something, but you don't have tangible evidence, or you don't have the ability to reason, or you don't reason, or you don't have logic. But you get that pit in your stomach when you just know something, and if you don't listen to it, you want to kick yourself. Everybody has it. Psychic abilities is a more heightened form of that ability of knowing without having any type of real logic to support it, right? Psychics can see past, present, and future, and there's different variations. There's different levels of psychic ability. It's just like math. Some people are better at basic math, some people are better at algebra, and so on, right? So you get that. A lot of psychics use tarot. And then you have mediums. Mediums see dead people. They can see into the other world. All mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums. So if you're a psychic, you're very intuitive. If you're a medium, you're very intuitive. If you're a medium, you're psychic. But if you're psychic, you're not intuitive. There's different types of psychic, and a lot of people try to they interchange them. I get that, but there's different types of psychics. A lot of psychics use tools. I've never used a tool. Since I was born, I've been able to see things about the future, as well as see dead people. For instance, when I was 7, I predicted my father's passing, and 3 weeks later, he passed away. Unexpectedly, shouldn't have passed away. He was very young. He was in great shape. He was an engineer. His side of the family, a lot of Mensa members, which is where I get a lot of my math and science from that side of the family. So that's what that's all about. As a medium, I do see dead people, and I don't use tools of any sort. I don't use cards. I don't do anything. I just sit there. I see TV screens, so I might see somebody's past, present, or future. So I get a little video or little pictures, or when I communicate with the other side, a lot of times I do that with them on criminal cases. People will come in and tell me things about people. Sometimes the secrets are really interesting. Just saying, So I always say I should write and work for the Star magazine or one of those rags. I would never, but that would be hilarious.
It would be, because you do know secrets. So you mentioned working with law enforcement. Do you mostly work on missing persons to help them know if they've passed or if they're still alive? I think that would be really valuable.
I have worked on those cases. I do a lot with murder cases. And so a lot of times I'll help to, crack the case behind the scenes. Funny, real quick little story. About 4 months ago, I'm like, oh God, psychically, I see I'm going to get called to do jury duty, right? I'm like, there's so many people where I live. I'm in upstate New York, in Buffalo. And I'm like, what? There's 1 million people in the area in Erie County. So anyways, I get my notice. I send it back. Oh, I can't. I'm self-employed. I'm like, they're not going to buy it, right? So of course, I'm like, they're going to call me in. I'm going to end up going in on a Thursday night. It's going to be for murder. And I mentioned in my head who the name of the murder case was. So Fast forward, I get my summons. I call Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like, you have to come in on Friday. I'm like, great. Like, I really don't want to go down there. So, of course, I get down there. Come to find out, I didn't know with murder cases, one thing I didn't know, that you meet the potential, convicted or accused murderers. There were three of them. One of them, I had the name. I'd said it way before, so I'd already gotten his name. And he was 2 rows ahead of me. As I'm sitting there waiting to get called to get out of jury duty, rather, I could see exactly what he did. It was so uncomfortable because now I've got the perpetrator. And I couldn't go up and say, hey, listen, I'm a psychic. I know this guy's like guilty, and so is this guy and this guy. So, of course, I had to go up and say, well, you don't want me. I'm a psychic. Unless you want to hire me, the defense attorney, then I'll tell you how to navigate. Um, but the guy was such a dirtball. But yeah, I was sitting there, I'm like, ugh, like you have to go before God, at some point. But so that was kind of an interesting experience. But that's my world. Or I get out of showers and I have visitors. Or in my dreams, a lot of times I'll get visitors. So
I've heard about visitors not having any kind of
Personal space.
personal space. They seem to always show up when people are naked.
Well, but okay, and maybe you can answer me. What is the power behind the shower? Because I get my most vision, not visions in that sense, but clarity when I'm getting out of the shower. Like, what is there any significance to that?
that's a good question, Christina. You think with the shower, it relaxes you, so you're more engaged. Your mind's not really focused. You're focused on sudsing up or whatever, washing your hair, that type of thing. Plus, water is a natural, it's got your ion, so it naturally kind of works into your magnetic field. So it sort of clears out some of the debris, kind of opens up those channels to the ethers, to the creative realm, which the creative realm is the realm that you get your psychic information on. So that all makes sense why, you'd be in that Zen place.
I
It
like
So
does for me too. Like memory, you're always like my creativity, as you know, will hit when I'm driving or I'm doing something very routine. So
yes.
it kind of gets that memory going and it just seems to stimulate creativity somehow. So it's really kind of you shower all the time. I always do all my stuff in the same order usually. And it's a
so.
mindless kind of activity. So it kind of frees up the other part of your brain to come in and take control.
Exactly. Well, it's just like when you're driving, sometimes you drive long distances and you're like, oh my God, did I just drive that, 10 miles? Your mind like spaces out. You've got your subconscious and conscious mind. So, it's
Absolutely.
interesting, so, but just don't tell doctors that you see dead people or hear voices in your head. Never good. I'd be
Never a
like,
good thing,
Never
right?
good. Never good.
One of the things that I think I know I struggle with, and I think other people do too, is recognizing what's intuition and when I'm just worrying.
That's a good question. So it's very subtle energy. So I always tell people when you have a worry, you get very emotional. When you get something more intuitive, you're not as emotional. You have a different emotional state. So you want to pay attention to this. When you worry, you get all like worked up. When you get something typically intuitive, you get like this flash or this knowing. And sometimes it's perplexing because you're like, this doesn't make sense or whatever. But that's when it's a different emotional state. So when you get like a different change of energy emotionally, you'll know that that's more intuitive.
Ah, so you don't get so upset and worried and
Yeah,
freaked out about it. It's just kind of almost a calming. Oh, I know this.
to me, I feel like when it truly feels natural, like it just
Yes.
all just flow, like even the day, when the day just flows, to me, it's that different, like I'm going with my intuition versus I have to do this. You get the resistance of
Yeah, the less
it.
forced. But
Exactly.
for me, and I've worked hard to stop worrying and to let go and let things be and accept that I'm the path that's put in front of me, no matter where it takes me. But I still, I'll find myself saying, okay, am I just like not wanting to go do that? Or am I really feeling like I shouldn't go do that? I still have it because lots of times I'm not a super emotional person when it comes, I'm very logical when it comes to making decisions. So it almost always seems like, but I do I'm really in the isolation part of my spiritual journey. And so I spend a lot of time by myself. And you can really get in the habit of being a hermit and not going just because you don't want to do it. You don't want to get ready, or you don't want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I know sometimes though there's a reason.
Yeah, there's a
Mm-hmm.
reason you're not wanting to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes it's subtle like that, and I never really know. I guess I sometimes know.
And the biggest thing is more, I will let her answer, but for me, it's what do I want now versus my old habits? Like, is this truly that, or am I falling back into some of my old habits? But
Well, and those are two good key points too. When you get that natural knowing and you can't necessarily logically put it into the place where you think it should be, that's another, confirmation as well. And just going, working within, when you get those gut instincts, you want to pay attention, you want to listen, you want to go with it. And what feels natural, and if it doesn't feel natural, you want to weigh those out. But if you get something that suddenly takes you by surprise and you're like, why am I getting this? You know that that's something that you're being, intuitively told about. And a good point too, Christine, sometimes you want to do something, but for some reason you're being told this other thing. So if you have the opportunity, you may want to explore, why am I getting this other, information that I can't necessarily support reasonably, but let me take a look at it. When you get that gut feeling is more of what you're going to notice a difference. So, and you just brought up something else too, living in synchronicity too, Christina, how you just kind of go with the flow when things just sort of work, that's where you're supposed to go. When doors are just opening up, where you don't have a lot of aggravations, or even when things are like crazy or hectic, but yet you can still zen. You're in that energy, that good energy. Just like a glass of champagne, it's even great energy. No pain with champagne, girls.
I
Walking
do
our
love
heels on that
see,
one.
champagne.
she's your
Me
champagne
too,
girl.
Deb.
I
Me
love
too.
champagne cocktails of all
Yes.
different kinds, and
Oh,
regular and mimosas, and
and
oh
if you
yeah.
put your fruit in, you get your fiber for the day. It's all good. No pain
Exactly.
with champagne, girlfriends.
We are definitely on the same wavelength.
Good.
So one of the things that happens to me, I get I always say spirit messages from my female ancestors that have passed on. And it is typically with roses.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always plant pink roses, and my grandma always planted red roses. And when she passed away, all the way back to when I was 18, the day she died, a white rose bloomed on her red rose
Oh,
bush.
wow.
And so I would get messages from her, like my pink roses one would bloom bright red instead of pink. And I would be like, that's like a message from my grandma. And recently, my mom passed away in 2021, and we were really close. And I had like this certain rain lily plant of hers, and it didn't come back. And I just was really watering it, frustrated that it hadn't come back. And I had some rose moss come up there. I don't have any roses at my new
Wow.
house. And so rose moss came up, kind of volunteer, a yellow rose moss, and about once a week, a white flower blooms on that yellow rose moss. And so I just am like, that's my mom. I know that's my mom sending me that message. And I'm just curious. I just know that, but is that like a big thing, like getting kind of that connection to spirit and past loved ones through things like flowers and music and that type of thing?
Absolutely. I always tell people, you're going to know your connections to your loved ones. Like with your mom, you know your connection with your grandmother, with the roses and what have you. So that's your frame of reference. So that's your connection. And your mom's like saying, hey, Deb, it's me. And, you'll notice that. So when you sense something and you sense it relates to a loved one, that's who's trying to communicate in your frame of reference. And sometimes even in your own mental frame, you might be having, a thought about your mom, but it's really your mom communicating to you telepathically. So, and that's a whole nother like level of learning to decipher, your brain chatter or mind chatter from your mom's, which by the way, I knew your mom had passed. I was going to get into that at the beginning, but that's a whole nother thing. But we'll talk about that after the show, girls, or we'll
Well,
arrange
and
something, both of us.
we
Or if we-
had been soliciting people to come onto the show for you to do a reading for, and we had a technical difficulties and had a delay, and so we've missed that window for that for when we had somebody lined up. So if you have messages for us, I guess in lieu of
Yeah.
that, we would be willing to do that too.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, first of all, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Who's the L connection? Like an Ellen or Shelley or Kelly, Ellen, Eleanor, something L? Was it a friend of your mom's, like an AL or an EL?
Um, Now my
And
grandma is Lola.
no, 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 no. Who's like an
No,
Ellen or Shelley or Kelly? Do you have somebody in the living like an Ellie, Kelly, Shelley? It's like an L sounds what she's saying. Like a
I
Michelle,
don't.
Kel, L.
I don't really.
Darla.
Oh, my sister is Darla.
No, who are you going to say, Christina? Who's the L?
She,
Who's the?
Um,
Go ahead.
I um
I met a lot.
Donita. I mean, I
Nope.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Let me see what your
I,
mom's saying. And also, who's got a
okay.
June or July birthday or passing or anniversary? And also, who's the
June.
August?
Who's the June?
June is my sister, Darla.
Okay, because she said JU, and I'm like, it's got to be June or July birthday. So tell Darla happy birthday. Quick question,
Okay.
Christina. Where's the Ann connection around you? Who's got the name Ann? Like, who's got a first name, or who's it that your grandma's talking about?
My grandma Barbara Ann.
That's her. Yep. I heard grandma and I heard, wait, she's still living? Because I got Barbara Ann.
No,
That's her
no.
then. That's why I heard. That's
Yeah.
why I heard something Ann. And I was going to say, who's the Barbara? That's your grandmother. Because she kept saying grandma something Ann. So I got your grandma, I got your mom. Who's John or Jack, by the way? Who's like the Jonathan or Johnny? Who's that, Deb?
My mom's brother is my Uncle Johnny.
John. Okay, yeah, because she said tell her Johnny too. So they're all coming in. I got everybody talking. Quick question for you, Christy. I'm going back and forth with your family. So I'm going to tell you who's like a Mel, Melissa. It's like an L sound, like an EL, Eleanor, L, something like that. Your mom keeps saying. Shelly, Kelly, Ellie.
Hmm.
Theodore.
Your mom's
Theodora.
insist. Nope.
Maybe. So I have a new granddaughter. Her name's Theodora.
No, no, that's it. Not like an
That's not
L.
it. Yeah, it's really
Yeah,
not. I was
No,
we'll
trying to
figure
think.
this
it's
out.
all.
We'll figure that part out. So let's go back to you
Mm-hmm.
because Barbara Ann's talking about you, Christina. Did you want to get a new vehicle or did you do some work to your vehicle?
I need a new vehicle.
Yes,
Yes.
you do. You're good. That's what Barbara said. She said something new vehicle. So she'll go with you to help negotiate. Your grandmother said, your grandfather said too.
Well, she's the one that had the slug bug.
Oh, that is it. So Christina has this psychic thing
With
with
slug bugs.
with
And every time I see one, and so I want to get one for my business with Decluttering Queen, is I want a slug bug with the little
like
lashes.
the Volkswagen bug
Yeah.
that they
Oh,
would say
that's
slug
And
bug on
she had a
them.
yellow, uh, one of the old timey slug bugs.
And so when we see one of those, there's this connection for
Yeah.
Christina every time we see one.
we love that. Your grandmother's smiling all about that, and she's thrilled. She's going to help you pick out your slug bug too. Yep. Just make sure it's got good tires, good everything on it. Your grandfather said, but he'll help you with that. So now I got to go back to you, Deb, because your mother's killed me, and Uncle Johnny, and your grandparents are. Who was the MAR? Like a Margaret or a Mary? Was that who's that Graham's talking about? Who's the MAR?
MAR.
Marla, something Mar. Could be in the living too. Mar. Wait, do you have a Marla or Marna in the living? Marla? Put this
No,
in your
not
future.
maybe so. I have now there's my daughter is Mason, spelled like you spell Karen, YN, actually.
No, 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 no. So you're going to meet somebody with the name Marla because your mom said into the living. So and it's a business connection for the two of you. She
Oh,
says here and your grandmother. So they're giving me some future things too. They're saying in the
nice.
living though somebody like an Ellie Ella. Ellie
Hmm.
Ella. Actually, this goes with your granddaughter. When you said granddaughter, that's what your mother's showing me. She's going to be connected to like an Ellie or Eliana or something like an Ellie Ella.
Maybe
Ella
I have
Bella.
another grandbaby gonna come.
Keep that in
Mhm.
mind, and I'll tell you why. Because, well, it's funny you should say that. There's somebody, one of the housewives, I said, you're going to have a grandson, and his name is going to be like Henry, whatever. Anyway, she didn't believe me, didn't know her daughter was pregnant. Found out a few months later, her daughter gave birth, and the baby's name is Henry. But when you said your granddaughter, you're going to either have one or you're going to be connected to, or your granddaughter. There's another baby connection with a name like an Ella, Bella, Ellie, like an Ellie, Eliana, something like an EL is what I keep getting the sound. So keep
The
that in
only
mind.
The only person I have is my dog. I have a dog named Bella.
Oh, that's what she's saying. Bella. I knew it was close. Bella must be close to your granddaughter. Bella loves your granddaughter. That's your confirmation. Your mother's in your house, Steph. I knew it was there. She kept saying it. And when they're talking, you can hear them very clearly. Your house is haunted. So is yours, Christina. So they're all laughing about that. Yes, your mom's in your house because she kept saying close, close to the baby. Bella's very good about the baby. Well, Bella thinks she's a baby anyways, your mom said.
Yeah, she's been really scared of the storms recently. She's never really met my granddaughter because they're in
Yeah.
Colorado, and it's my only grandchild, and my daughter is a doctor in her residency, and so
Shouldn't have
they
said that.
can't really come here.
I saw healthcare around you too. I was going to get into that. Yeah, at some point, it seems like you're going to have to introduce Bella at least on FaceTime with your granddaughter. But yeah, when your dog goes like this, your dog sees grandma, your mom. And by the way,
Ah,
your granddaughter is absolutely beautiful.
thank you.
And then back to you, Christina, too. I keep seeing marriage all around you. Do you want to get married? Because I see that all around you.
No, I've been married for 13 years, but
Oh,
we're
then that's what
renewing our vows this in
oh,
May.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm. That's what I saw the marriage wedding around you then. Okay, because that's what your grandmother was showing me, like a marriage ceremony. So you just renewed your vows, you said?
No, I
Or
won't
you're going
renew
to?
them until this next year.
You'll be
But
at.
she's planning it.
Yes.
That's the wedding they're talking about, the redo of your nuptials. And grandma will be there. Grandpa, you got a whole bunch of people coming in. So FYI, there's always a connection, and it's so funny because both your families are both going da 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 da. So it's hilarious. Did you just get some new furniture too, Deb, or a new end table, or was it you? Somebody said some new furniture, or was it you, Christina, with like furniture, a table? Is it you, Deb? You, Deb?
I mean, I have gotten some new
That's
furniture,
what I kept saying.
some
You, yeah,
like small things a little bit, but like I
yeah,
got a new bed and
yeah,
Yeah.
different stuff, but nothing super major
yeah. Small
about
furniture.
that.
No, it doesn't have to be major. That's just your verification. Your mom's killing me, so yes. That's so funny you got. And now who's like, is there somebody named Richard or Dick or something Dickerson or Dickie or Dixie? It's like a nickname or something? Dickie? Is that Debbie? Like a Richard or Dick something? Dixie? Dixieland or
Hmm. I mean,
Dixon?
I've had a couple of dates with someone named Richard.
Recently.
Mm-hmm.
He's thinking about you. That's why your
N-
mother's saying Richard or Dick. Yeah. She knows about your dating life.
well, well, maybe she can straighten it out because I don't think I'm keeping Richard.
She doesn't think you should keep him either. She kept saying Richard, and I'm like, I never know if they mean formally or whatever. She goes, like this because it takes a lot of
No,
energy for them. But here's the good news in your future, though. Your love life does look like it's going to make some very good improvements. And I do see a serious relationship ahead. So, yeah, your mom's not a fan. Actually, neither is your gram. The girls are not a fan. Actually, Christina, Barbara Ann's or Christina's grandmother, Barbara Ann, says, yeah, neither am I. So, there you go.
oh,
It's
well,
not that Richard's bad. It's just your compatibility is just not there. How's
we
that?
really aren't compatible. I had this discussion with Christina
Yeah,
just
not compatible.
yesterday that we're just not compatible, and that I was gonna have to let that one go. But so well, that's good that
Yeah.
somebody will be out. My people will find me. I have shed everyone not coming with me to the next frequency, and so my people are coming.
Mm,
Well, that just validates that they're with you. And it's funny with you, Christina, you and your partner, your husband, you've been together multiple lifetimes.
I can see that too. I
So,
really can. I feel a good, strong connection to both of you.
uh, we literally are the yin and yang. I mean, we are two polar freaking opposites, but it just somehow works. We both sometimes wonder how it works because I'm here, he's here, he's there. I mean, it's
Something that's weird about Christina and I is we are kind of opposites too,
yeah.
but also we have the same north and south node. So we're both Scorpio south nodes. So we're supposed to be going the
And
same
then Taurus,
direction.
North, yeah, we're
Yeah.
Taurus North nodes. So,
well, the two of you definitely have a strong past life tie too. So, if I look at your past lives, if I go to like probably 13, 1400s, and you've had multiple, and I'm in Europe. Um, Actually, you've had a couple. I saw you in Spain in a past life, but I also see you in like England. So you've known each other multiple past lives. Probably when you met, you felt that natural connectability.
We
So that's,
did.
yeah.
We've only known each other a little over a year.
Yeah.
We'd known each other about 3 months when I asked her to start a podcast with me. So
Wow.
we've
I
definitely,
don't even think it was that long.
maybe not, but we've definitely had this immediate friendship and connection. And there's a pretty big age difference between the two of us, but you just can't tell it. Like, she's got little kids, my kids are all grown. But yeah, definite connection. And I feel a connection to her and her husband.
Well,
Um,
according to Barbara Ann, Christina's husband is very handsome, she said.
I will say we've been married 13 years, and I will say I am deeply in love with my husband now more than ever.
Oh, he's so
he
Like,
is.
cute.
I like this version better. The rest can
I
go.
have a very brotherly feel for him, and I always have. Was a soldier, and I just don't
Oh,
feel
wow.
any of that from him. I'm really good about feeling stuff from people, like dangerous situations, and I just feel really calm, a real brotherly love feeling for Dustin, and have since I met him. Honestly, since we spent any time together, he seems.
That's the power of healing and letting the shit go.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Um, do you have any questions to ask her?
Nope, I think we are good.
Are we?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, we
well,
are getting kind of close to
close to
time,
the
aren't
end,
we? I
yes.
see. We can talk, Christina and I. We can just gab and gab and gab, and we are both on such a spiritual healing journey, which is part of why we connected. I think too is because we were at the same place vibrationally, and um, part of what we are doing this whole season, our theme is becoming unstoppable. And so we try to ask all of our guests if they have tips that they can give us and our audience on what what we can do to become more unstoppable and have that in our life.
I love that. Well, first and foremost, we're never victims. We create our own world. So I tell people life is a game. So everything's a challenge. It's a game, it's a strategy. So don't let anything stop you. Look at it as an opportunity to propel you. So, if you allow yourself to feel down, you're never going to get back up. Keep your eye on the ball because we all have the power within. You don't have to take it. You don't have to put up with, you know, a lifestyle that doesn't suit you. Might take you a little while to get there, but have your goal in front of you. And again, when you have when you get rather challenges, come up with a strategy. Life is here to test you. That's why we're here to see what kind of person do we have the grit to keep going. Of course we do. We have a brain. We have, the intellect. We have opportunities. There's people around us that we can always reach out to. Look at people around us that are successful and watch what they do. But know you have it within and that you can go. And if you're in a situation, just know that time moves forward. So you're not there, you're not locked in. You're never stuck and you're never locked in. You may have to change your method or your strategy, but you can get there. The other thing from an intuitive point of view, listen to your gut instinct. So if something feels off, doesn't feel right, like we talked about earlier, listen into that, and go with it. Because we have the power and the ability to make changes. We have the power and the ability to do what we want to do. We're here to manage our emotions, test out who we are, and the best way to test out who we are is with challenges. Can I come up with a great strategy? And eliminate people that are negative because you don't want to be around them. That's up to them. We're not here to fix other people. We're here to raise our own vibrations. When we're healthy, people will follow us, right? When we're not in that place, then we're not going to be that helpful. So, be the best you can be. You're never a victim. You always have a way out. It just takes a little while. It might take a different strategy, but be flexible. So that's what I would say. And listen to your intuition.
What a great uplifting message she left us with.
Yes, and I'm all thank you so much for that. That hit home. That hit home. So, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can feel what an intuitive coach you must be for people because you can feel kind of what they need to hear. I
Yeah.
totally felt that from her. It was fantastic.
Yes.
So, if our audience wants to learn more about you or book a session with you, what is the best way for them to do that?
They can either go to Instagram at Karyn Reece or my website. But my parents were definitely not hooked on phonics. So my name is spelled Karyn Karyn, and then Reece, Reece. You got to look for the check mark. There's a couple of people out there trying to pretend that they're me, but you'll know it's me. So, but it's KarynReece.com, or, Instagram at Karyn Reece. Karyn Reece has the check mark for the Instagram, but whole
And
bunch of
you
things.
are right, and you have like a weekly Wednesday
Podcast.
show where they can get in and you do like a live session,
Yep.
right?
Every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern. So I'll spend an hour, 9 o'clock PM, that is. And so for an hour, I'll take some questions. We'll do some readings. We got a lot of videos. You can check those out. And that's like a box of chocolate, like Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get. It's always fun. I just did a live audience, which those are fun. I had like 120 people. And, I get pulled in all these directions, kind of like your crazy families. By the way, your mom and Graham, they all said we love you. So. And again, Barbara Ann, thanks your boyfriend, or your husband is cute. He's so cute, she keeps saying. And your boyfriend, get rid of him.
This is the lady
Nothing.
that was actually playing poker with Elvis
Oh my
in,
God, Rambo Rock.
yeah, when he was in the army. So, yeah, I can totally see her.
Bad just
Gosh,
Yeah.
rocking it.
that's
Yep.
fantastic. So, do you have any? I know you do celebrity and TV
Mhm.
appearances. Do you have any TV stuff coming up that people
See, you
can
are
tune
being
in?
psychic, Deb, already. So, as a matter
Mm-hmm.
of fact, I've got two projects in the works, something national with TV, and then another national media thing. So, I'm working on those two things, and I'll keep you girls posted ahead of time. So,
That would be awesome.
always good
Fantastic.
juicy stuff.
Well,
So, but thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, thank
we
you for joining us.
Yes, we had a great time having you with us. Please, you can link to Karyn's information in our show notes, along with Christina's at the Declutter Queen and mine with Hexagon Media. Thank you again for listening and viewing. You can find us on YouTube and all podcast platforms. We're grateful to have you. Download, share, and subscribe. So for this episode,
We are out.